The following is a special presentation of First Horizons Green Sports Zone. This is the Terry's Flooring Jacob Willett Show. Welcome back to First Horizons Green Sports Zone, and welcome to this year's edition of the Terry's Flooring Jacob Willett Show, where we cover everything on the diamond out here in Lower Afton with the Chuckey-Doak Black Knights baseball team. We'll recap the season up to this point throughout the month of March and look ahead at what's next in April as we wind down the last half of the season. But first, we need to go ahead and get a billboard in first, so we'll be right back after this quick message here on First Horizons Green Sports Zone. The Terry's Flooring Jacob Willett Show is brought to you by Gateway Ford Nissan, Tommy's Plumbing, and Terry's Flooring. Welcome back to First Horizons Green Sports Zone, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Terry's Flooring Jacob Willett Show, where we cover everything down here in Lower Afton on the diamond with the Chuckey-Doak Black Knights baseball team. As always, I'm joined here with Black Knights head coach Jacob Willett. It feels like it's not been that long ago, but it really has been that long ago. Good to be back here in Lower Afton. Not on the diamond this week, a little too cold outside. We're beside the diamond, but nonetheless, still glad to be back out here. How are you doing, Coach?
I'm good. How are you doing, man?
I'm doing well.
It's good to be back. Good to be back.
I hate to be here this late. We kind of spoke about it off record beforehand. Hate how there's an overlap between baseball and basketball season, and then the first week that I can get back out here is spring break, and nobody wants to do interviews on spring break. So starting these up the last week of March, but hey, better late than never. Let's recap the season up to this point. A little bit of a rocky start, but good through conference so far. Too many games to really go by one on my part, but I'll leave it up to you however you want to. If you want to go game by game, if you want to go by week, or just any order you would like to go, take us through the season up to this point so far.
So as you mentioned, we got out to kind of a slow start, and a lot of it has to do, half our roster plays basketball, and they get here late, not a lot of reps in, so we get off to a slow start. We don't have any chemistry. We haven't played together at all. It's really, hey, you're done with basketball, go suit up and play baseball the next day because your regular season's already started. So it's tough for us. I hate it as a coach. It's not fair to baseball coaches. It's not fair to basketball coaches that have baseball players that guys are looking forward to baseball season during basketball. I don't agree with the whole calendar, but it is what it is. There's not a whole lot we can do about it as coaches other than, deal with what we got. But yeah, obviously, when you play bigger schools, they've got less overlap with guys that play basketball and baseball. So that's kind of what we've been fighting against is, hey, these guys have been practicing for 2 months, whereas, we haven't practiced at all. We're just showing and going, really. So, we got off to, I think we dropped our first 3 games of the year. Week 1, we played Crockett and Pigeon Forge, had 2 games against Crockett. Pretty competitive games, honestly. Would like to have a couple things go differently in those games, but early in the year, the Pigeon Forge game was really ugly, and that first week was frustrating for me. And then rolling into week 2, another frustrating week for us. It was still not clicking yet. Let's see, we had 2 games against South Green, and then we went to Pittman, and then University. So I think we won our 2 conference games, lost our next 2 at Pittman and University. And, I know I voiced a lot of frustrations after the South Green game. And it was because now we had played 5 games and I've yet to see 7 good innings of baseball. It's we might get 1 here, we might get 2 here, but you got to understand where we're at as a program as well. It's, if our team's goal was to be competitive in conference play and compete for a district championship, that's fine. I wouldn't be upset. We won our 2 conference games. But if you ask our guys in our locker room what their goals are, they're not satisfied with a district championship. They're wanting to go to state. So when we measure our stuff, our measuring stick is what do we have to do to advance to state and to compete in Murfreesboro. And to get to Murfreesboro, and it's not easy. It requires you to play at such a high level that our guys know where they were playing was really unacceptable, regardless of the outcome of the game. So, yeah, we won, and I was frustrated because I know that if we don't start playing better baseball, we're not going to get to our goals. So yeah, whenever we're measuring ourselves, we're looking, at end game. Where do we need to be in May? And yeah, it's March, but we need to push these guys to get them to where we need to get them to in May to achieve their goals, because a lot of guys in our locker room are going to feel like their season's a failure if they don't achieve more than they did last year. And the first 2 weeks of the season, the product we got on the field was not going to get us any further than we got last year. It was going to get us a lot shorter than we were last year, honestly. But so sometimes I know sometimes I can be a little negative, I guess you could say, but it's not necessarily me being negative. It's me telling these guys, hey, we won. Don't be happy though, because we have to be better to get where we want to go. And they know that. And we've got a mature bunch. We've got dudes that's played a lot of baseball, and they just want to win, and they want to play at the highest level possible. So if they're not doing that, I don't have to tell them that. I mean, if we win a game 6-5 against somebody and they don't play well, they know that. And, I have to reinforce that, because I can't let mistakes be okay. And if I let mistakes be okay, we're going to get in a really tight game on down the road, and we're going to make those same mistakes. That's going to cost us that game. So the margins are so small when you get into postseason play and into district tournament, regional tournament, sub-state. Your margins are so small. We have to be perfect. And if we're not perfect, I have to correct it. And I know as a coach, you want to say, like, you can't be perfect. No, but you can get your guys as close to perfect as you can possibly get them, and that's my goal. We're going to make mistakes. I know that. But how close to perfect can we be? That gives us the best chance to win games late in May and so on. So if that's their goal, and that's our guys' goal set by them, not by me, and I think it's an attainable goal for them. So if that's their goal, it's my job as their coach to hold them accountable to that goal. So yes, I was negative after those wins, but when you put it into perspective, you can kind of understand why. It's because our goal might not be to beat this team or this team or this team. Our goal is to be where we need to be at the end of the day. So yeah, that's why I was so negative. I know, and then moving on to week 3. Or let's go to the Pittman game.
What a weird game.
The Pittman game, we throw a no-hitter. Gavin Crum pitched the best game that he's pitched since he's been in high school for us, and we lose that game 1-0. Our offense on that Thursday and that Friday was non-existent. So that's, that kid pitched a heck of a baseball game. And then, reflecting back to earlier in that week when I was frustrated after wins, we kind of see why Thursday and Friday, because then we lose 2 games by a small margin. Whereas if we do a couple things that I talk about on Monday, Tuesday, we might win those games 2-1, 3-2. But, it's neither here or there. We're growing and getting better. That's the thing that I can say right now is, after week 2, we've really turned it around here, and we've got going the way we need to be going. We played Johnson County. That was a competitive baseball game. They played us really well. I don't think
beat West Green yesterday.
Huh?
Beat West Green yesterday, I believe.
Yes, they did. They're a good baseball team. So we played okay that game. We could have did a couple things better there, but we were much more competitive than we were the 2 weeks leading up to that. And then the game against Westridge, we played 5 innings of exceptional baseball, like exceptional. We just couldn't get it to 7 yet. So we've pushed it from maybe 1 or 2 to 5. Now it's how do we get it from 5 to 7? And now this week, we've got it from 5 to 7. And we've really
And it reflects with 32 combined runs.
The Westridge game was really I looked back at that game and was like, I can work with this. This right here I can work with. Yes, we lost the game. Yes, we made some mistakes. But
it was promising.
It's competitive. It's like, we can start to see it now. And they're a pretty good team. I mean, they're a huge school, and we're not. And, we definitely had our chances in that game. I think, if our outfield plays a little better, we win that game. And I trust the guys that's out there. And I'm sure if we put them in those same positions to make those plays 9 times out of 10, they're making the plays that dropped on that Westridge game. So that's just one of those things where it's baseball. I mean, but you can kind of see where we're trending that game. So over the weekend, I felt really good about going into Happy Valley because the trend was up. And now we roll into Happy Valley on Monday and Tuesday this week, and we finally start to get it clicking. Like we're in a pretty good spot now, which is going to make Thursday interesting to see how that goes round 2 now, because the team that's played Monday and Tuesday is a different baseball team than what we've seen the first 2 weeks of the season. That's more, I told our guys last night, we've been pushing you to get you to where we were last year. Well, Monday and Tuesday didn't look like last year. It looked better. So, if we're better than last year, we're going to be pretty dang good.
Looking at the games this week, you spoke to me after the Westridge game and said that you were 3-0 so far in conference games, needed to carry that over into Monday and Tuesday to be 5-0, and you did just that. You spoke about it, and I mentioned it, 32 combined runs. You outscore Happy Valley 32-8 in both games, both run rule wins. So you're winning the games that you need to so far. And it's crazy to say that here we are at the end of March, and not even near the end of March yet, just really at the halfway point, and you're halfway through your conference games, but you're undefeated in those conference games. How important is that so far to be 5-0 within the district?
You got to keep winning your district games. I mean, we were able to get really good pitching this week. I mean, who pitched Monday? Crum pitched Monday again. He threw it well. He filled up the zone. Bowers pitched it last night. New kid, he's got super high potential. Sophomore, just transferred in. He's going to be a heck of a baseball player, and he's going to be a heck of an arm for us here in the future. But yeah, we got Lincoln rolling tomorrow, so hopefully we can pick up a non-con win. But the conference wins are crucial, right? Because it puts you in a good spot to win in the postseason. So the games now in March and April, they matter because you don't want to be playing the 1 seed come into first round of the tournament. So. And controversially, if you can get the 1 seed, you've got a better path to make the district championship game. You win the district championship game, you got an easier path to win a regional championship game. So, it all matters in the end. But if we were to drop one, it's not the end of the world. But you'd like to win those. You'd like to win those for sure.
Not speaking about it too much, but just looking at the schedule, how fitting is it that you end your district schedule with Unicoi County, who is one of the top teams in the state, who most people expected to come in and take your crown? How fitting is it that that is the last conference series that'll be for the regular season title?
Ask our guys in our locker room if they think Unicoi is going to come in and take their crown. I mean, right now the district championship's right here, so our guys take that personal. So yeah, that's going to be a fun one. That's going to be a fun one. I know a lot of people probably already counted us out after the first 2 weeks of the season against Unicoi, but if we keep trending the way we're trending, I think we're going to be all right.
Last question I'll have in this first half, too. It's a lot to just put everything into one portion, knowing that we're in, I think, the 4th week of the regular season now, but who have been some of the players that you've been most proud of so far this year? Normally in a preview edition, we'll go one by one down the roster and talk about every player, but here we are close to halfway through the season now, so that's not really feasible. We'll just talk about who's performed well this year so far. So almost halfway through the season now, who have you been most proud of?
Can we do the contrary? Can we be who am I most frustrated with? No, I'm just playing.
It's up to you. It's your call.
I'm kidding. I'll tell you what, over this week right here alone, our seniors have stepped up in a huge. I think our seniors knocked the cover off the ball over the last 2 days. Leading up to this point, there's been like 2 guys that's been consistent on offense. It's been Ben Palazzo. It's been Kipton Ball. Over the last 2 days, we had 2 guys struggle. It was Ben Palazzo. It was Kipton Ball. The other 8 guys knocked the cover off of it. So, we kind of flipped the script completely there. And I trust those guys to get it rolling, so I'm not worried about them. But our seniors specifically, I think, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know Randall was 3 for 3 with like 4 RBIs on Monday. I know, let me just pull it up here. We had a ton of hits and a ton of hits from our seniors. 4 hits from
Crum, 5 last night with 6 RBIs.
Yeah. 4 for 4 from Lincoln, 3 for 4 from Dom. I mean, our seniors, 2 for 4 from Cooper. He struggled a little bit and he's starting to get going now. But our seniors have stepped up over the last 2 days and been what we've needed them to be, which is our upperclassman who carries the workload. Early on in the season, we've had a more senior heavy bottom half of the lineup and a real young top half of the lineup, which is kind of contrary to what you usually see, I would say. But that's also a good thing because we feel like 1 through 9 we can hit it. So I don't feel like our lineup ever drops off at all. It's pretty consistent all the way through with guys that can swing it, whether it's the 9 hole, whether it's the 1 hole, whether it's the 4 or the 7. So those guys have all stepped up and started playing better baseball.
Something to add, I think, going through the 19-7 win last night, I think all 16 RBIs were accounted for by the seniors.
Let's see.
Randall, Cooper, Ben, yeah.
Cooper's a sophomore. He's the only guy that all of our seniors had RBIs, didn't they? Well,
13 of your 16 RBIs were by the seniors. Not all 16, but still incredible that, like you mentioned, your seniors stepped up in a big way going into a big matchup with Pigeon Forge, and then a big matchup with West Green next week that we'll talk about. We'll go ahead and speak about that in the back half. We'll go ahead and get a break in first before we jump into those games, into the preview portion of the interview. So stick with us. We'll talk about that series with West Green and the upcoming half with Pigeon Forge right after this break here on First Horizons Green Sports Zone.
When it comes to flooring, trust our team at Terry's Flooring. With the largest selection in the area, you're sure to find the perfect look for your home or business. Backed by decades of experience, our unmatched customer service ensures that your project is measured and installed with precision and done right the first time. It's no surprise that Terry's Flooring boasts a 4.8 rating on Google and a 5-star rating on Yelp. Come and see my Popsy's team at Terry's Flooring on Kaiser Boulevard. Terry's Flooring, quality you can stand on.
For over 30 years, Tommy's Plumbing has proudly served the Tri-Cities with a personal touch because we're not just plumbers, we're family. From simple faucet repairs to full plumbing repiping, we have the experience and expertise to get the job done right. We also specialize in water heater and tankless water heater installations, helping you find the perfect solution for your home. Our technicians stand behind their work and always leave your space clean and spotless. Looking for a plumber who's fast, professional, and reliable? Call Tommy's Plumbing and let our family take care of yours.
At many dealerships, you get what you'd expect. Games, gimmicks, and shady sales tactics. At Gateway Nissan in Greenville, expect the unexpected. Low prices, convenient service, and a great buying experience.
Get our Gateway exclusive lifetime powertrain warranty.
No worries for life.
You deserve the unexpected. It's the #1 reason you gotta get to Gateway.
Shop online at GatewayNissanGreenville.com.
Or take the super short drive down Highway 11E to Gateway Nissan in Greenville.
Welcome back to First Horizons Green Sports Zone, and welcome back to this week's edition of the Terry's Flooring Jacob Willett Show, where we cover everything on the diamond with the Chuckey-Doak Black Knights baseball team. As always, joined here with Black Knights head coach Jacob Willett. So you got the back half of the series with Pigeon Forge on Thursday, and then the conference series with West Green on Monday and Tuesday. Let's jump into Pigeon Forge first, traveling up to Sevier County to take on Pigeon Forge on Thursday. You alluded to it. In the back half of the first half, you're looking forward to that one because it's not the same team that you put on the field in week 1 when you were no-hit down here at Tusculum. It's a different team now. It's put up 32 runs in the last 2 games and has really put up a lot of runs regardless, with 7 against Johnson County and 6 against Westridge also. What are you looking forward to most on Thursday?
I'd like to win that game because that's been a ball team that's ended our season more times than I can count. Whether it's when I'm coaching, when my dad was coaching, that team seems to end our season so many times. And it would be nice to get over that hump, beat them. I mean, we beat them a couple of years ago, but, you know, give this bunch that confidence that going into, you know, postseason play, that if we see these guys again, like, hey, we've already beat these dudes. We're okay. So that'd be one that would like to win for a confidence standpoint and for a feel-good standpoint going into postseason play, knowing that, like, hey, we can play with these guys. We can beat these guys if we need to. Because, you know, it seems like every year we're in an elimination game with them. So hopefully we can avoid that this year. But, yeah, it's one of those games where it's just like, it's I don't know, man. It's just been not a very good record against that baseball team. And they're always good. They're well coached. They've got a ton of kids that can play. It's never easy against them. They're really, really, really good. But, you know, I feel like we're pretty good too. So it'll be a fun. I feel like it'll be a fun game. I also thought the first time we played would be a fun game, and it wasn't. They no hit us and put up 13 on us. So, I mean, hopefully, I think we're playing a lot better now, though. So I think we're gonna be all right.
I have an idea, but why is it that you schedule Pigeon Forge every year?
Because that's our measuring stick. You know, that's who we got to beat. That's a multi-state champion baseball team. That's
litmus test.
Yeah, it's one of the best teams in our area, and they're always one of the best teams in our area every single year. And I get them on our schedule every year, and you know, we got a lot of pretty good ones on there. If you've looked at our schedule this year, I know we go to Elizabethton next week. We go to Unicoi County the following week. We go to University. We've already played. Yeah, I mean, we play a gauntlet of a schedule, but also we get a heck of a lot better from it, as we've seen throughout the 3 weeks that we've played now. I know our record might not look good, but if you look at who we played some pretty good baseball teams. And that's not to make excuses or be okay with losing, but you know, not all games are made equally. So we've got a gauntlet of a schedule, but we also feel like we're a team that people see on their schedule and they're like, oh, we got to play Chuckey-Doak this week, you know. So that's what we want to be, you know, whether we're there yet or not. You know, that's not up for me to decide. But yeah, hopefully we're trending in that direction for sure. And West Green next week, that's never easy. Adrian does a great job with them. I got a ton of respect for him as a coach, and it's never an easy win. You can never look at West Green on your schedule and write that down as a win. You've always got to show up, play really clean, throw strikes, hit the baseball. You've got to do everything that's required to win a baseball game against them. They handed us our only conference loss last year. You know, it's like 14-1 against conference opponents, or 15-1, and then they were our one loss. So, you know, I know we ended up ending their season last year, so they kind of feel the same way towards us. I'm sure that we do towards Pigeon Forge, whereas, you know, a lot of times it's us and them in an elimination game. Unfortunately, based on history, we usually come out on top of that one. So I know how that feels, and it sucks. And they want to beat our hind end just like we want to beat Pigeon Forge's hind end. So we can never, ever, ever overlook West Green because they've always got kids that can play. And they're going to give you a competitive baseball game.
About halfway. I guess we are halfway through the season at this point. I don't really know.
Man, it goes quick.
But at this point in the season right now, moving into, of course, Pigeon Forge and West Green, moving into the back half of your conference slate and the back half of just the regular season as a whole, how do you feel so far at the midpoint through the season?
I feel like right now, it's kind of an odd time to do an interview because if you would have asked me this a week ago or like 3 days or 4 days ago probably, how I feel right now, down in the dumps. I feel like we might be in a lot of trouble right now. But over the last couple of days, we're really over the last week, we really start to see changes made. We've seen guys buying into what we're trying to do. Our culture's pretty strong. So, you know, whenever we tell them what needs to be done, it usually gets done, you know. And if it doesn't happen right away, we usually see like adjustments trying to be made in order to get to what we need to be doing. Whether it's simple, you know, hey, you know, we got to adjust our approach with 2 strikes, or hey, you know, we got to do this a certain way on the bases instead. We usually see the attempt or the effort to make the adjustments. Sometimes they just take a little bit to kick in, you know, and to have success with those adjustments. And I think we're starting to see that now, and it's a credit to our dudes in the locker room, you know, believing and us and us believing in them, and it kind of works together that way. But you know, it's also a confidence thing. I think, you know, for like 3 weeks there, we were a baseball team with zero confidence. Our guys had no confidence, and it wasn't just in the batter's box. It was on the mound. It was on defense. It was on the bases. It was every aspect of the game. We were playing scared and with no confidence. And now that we've got a lot of reps in, we've had a little bit of success, you see the switch flip and you feel the energy. The energy is different now. I mean, this place, it felt like a cemetery a week ago, and the vibes were low here, and now our guys start to believe. Okay, they start to believe. They start to see it happen. They start to, okay, Coach, I got a hit tonight. I'm gonna get 2 tomorrow night. Then I get 2 tomorrow night. It's, hey, Coach, I'm back. You know how many guys looked at me on third yesterday and said, Coach, I'm back. I've got me a couple hits. I'm back. You don't know how fired up that gets me when I hear a kid, blister a ball and say, I'm back. I'm feeling it now. I'm getting back in my rhythm. And a lot of those guys are basketball guys. Like almost every one of those guys that was looking at me and saying that, basketball guys. So they're starting to get their timing down. They're starting to get a feel for their swing again because they had a long time with not playing baseball. And, I think we're a different team now, and they're getting their confidence and their swagger back and their energy back, and we're starting to become Chuckey-Doak again.
Well, I'm sorry it took me so long to get out here, but hey,
no, you're good.
I'm glad to finally be back out here.
Yes, sir.
Starting the Jacob Willett Show again.
It's always a pleasure, man.
We'll be back out on the diamond again soon. A little cold today, not too bad, but it's always good to switch it up and do it in different locations.
It is. Hopefully it's warmed up a little bit. I think next week the weather looks pretty good, so hopefully it stays that way. But we'll have a fun interview next week because there's a lot of good games coming up for us. Probably
the best backdrop of any coach's show I do also. You can't beat those mountains in the back. I
appreciate that. Our field, it's got a great view. It's also 200 feet to right field and 280 to the center and maybe 260 to left. So everything that's hit here leaves. It's usually not us hitting it.
Hopefully it's you hitting a lot of them, though, whenever you play these next 3 games. At Pigeon Forge Thursday at 5:30, hosting West Green Monday at 5:30, at West Green Tuesday at 5:30. If you have the opportunity, go out and check out the Black Knights playing in those 3 games. But, yeah. That's all we got for you this week, unless there's anything else you got to add.
No, just credit to our guys. I know we've had a lot of guys step up here. We've played a lot of young guys. Stick with it. Stick with the process. Younger guys, stick with the process. I know our younger guys have struggled a little bit. They're going to be okay. Just stick with it. Y'all are good. Keep grinding.
That's all we got this week. Thank you all for watching this week's edition of the Terry's Flooring Jacob Willett Show. We look forward to seeing you next time here on First Horizons Green Sports Zone.